of yesteryear. I want to speak a bit today about a famous Yemenite rabbi. His name was Rabbi Yichia Korach, very, very famous rabbi. Now, it's reported over he lived around the time period of 1840 to approximately 1881. I believe the 20th of Av is the rabbi's Hilula. I believe he passed away on that date. He was actually, I believe, from Teiman, from Yemen, and he would come from great rabbinic auspices. I believe his father's name was Rabbi Shalom Korach, another rabbi I believe we've spoken about on various occasions before, and he was considered, I think, his father, one of the great rabbis of Yemen of his day. Rabbi I believe we've spoken about on various occasions before here inside this series. There'll be actually another rabbi later on after his time, another rabbi, Rabbi Shalom Korach also, so we have to point that out. Okay, so let's explore a few of the highlights of the famous rabbi's life. Now, he would become the author of the Merapet Lashon. This would be a Targum, a translation on Onkelos, and so on and so forth. So he was born in Teiman, in Yemen, and I believe it was when Rabbi Yichia was about 10 years old. Sadly, I believe his father, his parents passed away, it's reported over. And yes, it's chronicled over that after his parents passed away, there was a Gzeirat at that time of Hayatumim. This was a specific decree that they had in Yemen, an orphan decree. I think it was an Islamic decree in Yemen that allowed the state to take under its protection any orphan minor from among its wards and educate him as a Muslim over here. So because of this decree in itself, Rabbi, another famous rabbi, I think we've mentioned before, Rabbi Yichia Habashush, would actually hide him and raise him. So we can see this, you could definitely argue, is very anti-Semitic of the Yemenites government to do this. So you can see the anti-Semitism that there was in Yemen. Now he grew up, he would study Torah with another famous rabbi we've spoken about on various occasions before, Rabbi Yosef Saleh. And later he would continue his studies in a yeshiva. He would study in a Torah Talmud academy over there. Now, Rabbi Yichia Korach would stand out for greatness with regards to his Torah knowledge, even despite he was a young age compared to many of the other great Talmidim over there, which is very interesting. So he would stand out there for his greatness and wealth. Many people were struggling from a financial point of view over there, and he would actually make a living by writing Torah scrolls. He was a scribe. He would, I think, they had influential thinkers from let's just say, from Europe, and along with other rabbis of that point in time. I think he lived in a generation where there was other famous rabbis, like Rabbi Yichia Korach, another rabbi we've spoken about on various occasions before. Rabbi Yichia Korach was, I think, lived between the years 1850 to 1931. He was a posek, he was a dayan, he was a rosh yeshiva, and he was part of the Dor Daya movement, let's just say, in of itself. And we actually recorded a video about him, I think, a couple of years ago, about Rabbi Yichia Korach. So he was also, let's just say, among a friendship circle. And there were two brothers, Rabbi Chaim Chabashush and Rabbi Suleiman Chabashush. Rabbi Chaim Chabashush of his day was also a very, very famous rabbi. He lived between the years 1833 to 1899, right till the end of the 19th century. I think he was a famous historiographer of the Yemenite Jewry, and he was a guide for French Jewish Orientalists and traveler Joseph Halevi, another person we've spoken about before. I think he was a French Jew of Turkish origin, and was a well-known traveler, let's just say, an educator and a poet. And so Rabbi Chaim Chabashush would also have a close relation, let's just say, with him in itself. And he was also another famous rabbi, which was, I think, part of the, let's say, the Dor Diyah movement, respectively. So that has to be pointed out also. So he was definitely he was close to those rabbanim, Rabbi Yichia Korach was. And I believe it was Rabbi Sa'id Arusi was another rabbi at that stage in time. I'm not too sure much information about Rabbi Sa'ad. I think we've mentioned him on various occasions before, Rabbi Sa'id Arusi. Hopefully maybe we'll record a video also about him at one stage in time. I haven't got so much information, but he was also another famous rabbi, I believe, from Teiman. Okay, let's look at some of the... Okay, now he would have a son and a daughter. I think most notably Rabbi Amram Korach is his son. And he was a very great rabbi. He lived between the years 1871 to 1952. He was, I think, a chief rabbi of, and the last chief rabbi of Yemen, respectively, Rabbi Chaim Korach, who would go on to become a great rabbi. He was very well connected with many of the great rabbis. He would eventually, his son would eventually, I believe, end up in Yerushalayim, in Jerusalem, just before he passed away. I think it was just on the eve of Sukkot. and he was extremely knowledgeable, especially with regards to traditions and customs of the Yemenite Jews. And he was very close with many other people, not just Jewish people. He was very close to the other people, dignitaries of other religions. He was seen as someone that was very respectable, very well knowledgeable, and would actually help immigrate many people to Eretz Israel, and all throughout his time. He actually was known for praying a lot, very hard, for let's say, safety of the IDF soldiers. Rav Amram Korach will go on to have 8 children, 5 daughters and 3 children. And actually that will be the grandchildren of Rabbi Yichia Korach. And Rabbi Yichia Korach, I believe, will have a great-grandson, Rabbi Shlomo Korach, who was the chief rabbi of Yemenite Jewry in Israel. I believe he passed away in 2018. I'm not sure if we spoke about him before. Rav Shlomo Korach, he was chief rabbi, he was the head of Jewish court in Bnei Brak. He was great-grandson of Rabbi Yichia, and I think he himself was born, in Teman. He was respected, in Yitzhana'a also. I think this was 1935, and will go on to become a great rabbi in Bnei Brak. And I think, interesting enough, he would study in the famous Lakewood Yeshiva in America under the leadership of Rabbi Aaron Kotler, and he was ordained to rabbinate by Rabbi Isi Yehuda Unserman, another famous rabbi, chief rabbi of Tel Aviv, I believe, was Rabbi Abraham Nesher, and Rabbi Baruch Yitzhak Levin. And you can see he had many close people. I think he was close to other great rabbis also. I think he passed away himself in Shaarei Tzedek Hospital. I think this was in the middle of Cheshvan in 2018, so hopefully we'll record a video within regards to him. It's actually interesting. He'll have another great-grandson, Rabbi Amram, who's a community rabbi in Beitar Elite and author of various different great books. And he'd have a great-great-granddaughter, Rabbi Yichia Korach, called Rabbanit Tzilia, who's married actually to Rabbi Hezkiah Samin, who happens to be the director of marriage, kashrut, and rabbinical appointment divisions at the Ministry of Religious Services. So you can see many of his descendants became really great, important people in Israel. Let's look at some of Rabbi Yichia Korach's Torah works, including the Maskil Doresh. This was in Torah of the Derech Pardes, the way of the Pardes, respectively. And this specific Torah colossal work, I think, includes clarifications on halachic law and customs and various other things, includes translation of the Torah, and let's say really dealing in, let's say, Yemenite tradition. He would look into works of other rabbis, especially European rabbis, and will give critique within regards to it. I think most notably Rabbi Natan Marcus Adler's book. I think Rabbi Natan Marcus Adler was a chief rabbi, I believe, of the British Empire, and had great ties to the British government. Naturally, he was particular over there, so he would have robust comments on his book, for example, and so on and so forth. I think he would also write another Torah book called Maskil She'ididot, and Maskil Al Niginot. This was a song on the Gaon B'nai Teman, in the Lashon, language of Rabbi Shlomo Shabzi, who was a famous poet also over there of his time. Now we can add a bit more information with regards to Rabbi Yichia Korach. He only lived about 41 years. He was obviously considered one of the great rabbis of Teman in his days, and much was going on at that day and age in Yemen all throughout. It was a very turbulent time period where he was there, especially from an anti-Semitic point of view. Obviously, we saw about his tough life, and within regards to different gezerot the Muslims actually had upon Am Yisrael, and how he learned under the wings of Rabbi Yichia ben Shalom Chabashush and Rabbi Yosef Sela. They say that he was very, very knowledgeable in Torah, as we stated on the outset. Especially, he was known for bringing many different great students to learn with him, and I think was working in shechita, kosher slaughter, and was also writing books also. So he was also a shochet, it's reported over. And I think his wife's name was Rabbanit Nadara, and they would have a son and daughter. I don't know how many children. Obviously, we spoke about Rav Amram before and his great descendants. And I think it's actually interesting. I believe just before he passed away, it's reported over that I think his immigration will come at the wings of eagles, and that famous operation. And he would serve as the rabbi of the Yemenite Jews in Israel in his last days, respectively. I think this was his, he would later serve as rabbi of the Yemenite Jews. And interesting enough, I think this is his son, if I'm not mistaken. We were just speaking here about Rabbi Yichia Korach, who obviously passed away in the 1881. Now, Rabbi Yichia Korach passed away in 1881. He was buried in Sana'a. Let's explore a couple of the highlights from his book, including Melamed Shinui Lashon Ha'umot B'Sham Makom Yisrael U'Makudash. That's one of his teachings from the Maskil Daresh. This comes from page 173. Another teaching, Melamed Kavanot HaGolim Lachanot Shema Yichia, שזה חירה לשון חיות וקיום. It's in the teaching. מוצא טוב במה שעדו זקנים, שבמצוות שילוח הקן יזכה לבן. The importance of the mitzvah of shilוח haken, sending away the mother bird. And he takes that from Parshat Ki Tetzeh, featured in the book The Maskil Daresh, I think page 187, which I would recommend everyone to actually look into. Now, another teaching, we're just looking from the Hayomi website over here on the various different teachings. Melamed, Shatura Mazon Lenefesh, Ubshat Adochek, Yistapek Adam B'mu'at. This once again from Maskil Daresh, come from page 148. And one last teaching I think we will explore in today's class over here, this special edition. Melamed lahakir ba'ma'alat ha'shoel lehoboto ulotzio b'kavod gadol. This comes from page number 92, I think, from Parshat Bo in the book the Maskil Daresh. It might have been reprinted, I think, in from the Machon Shtilei Zeitim in Bnei Brak. This book in the year 2005 it is reported over. So he was a very famous rabbi of his time. I think we've spoken about various rabbis from his family, and I recommend everyone to watch over those videos, especially the video we recorded on the famous Rabbi Amram Korach. Also, I think we recorded that, if I'm not mistaken, about 2 years ago. I think we were actually just before I went to England, if anyone can recollect on that stage in time. It feels like a lifetime ago now, but I remember recording the video then on his son's Hilula. So please, friends, we are community here. We are learning about the great rabbis of yesteryear. If you descend from any of the great Chachamim we are speaking about, please let me know. Send me an email, send me more information. I will really appreciate it also. If you feel anyone is interested in watching any of these video features, please share these videos also to other people also. Now, another favor, if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please subscribe, because we are coming to a staggering 7,000 subscribers, which is a phenomenal achievement. I don't think we would have, let's say, anticipated at any stage in time from when we started the videos. We do many different videos, important videos we cover on this series over here. So I really recommend everyone to learn, to grow, and to engage, and appreciating all the great feedback. Thanks very much, everyone, and have a great day. Appreciate it.